Hey, everybody, and welcome to Vox and Jed Fight About It again for another week. I said welcome back last time I did one of these intros, but I don't think, it really qualifies. We're on episode 17, and today we've
Hey.
got Enzo. Hi,
Hi,
Enzo.
Yeah.
No, we've had you on before, Enzo, but you were our first dual guest. I think we could talk about that.
Very terrible, very terrible. I'm sorry I had to share the spotlight with someone. It's okay, we're
Yeah.
fixing it now, don't worry.
Yeah, we're rectifying
Yeah.
we're rectifying that and having you on your own.
I know. It's so crazy.
Yeah, but mhm.
Yeah, no, I was
Go ahead.
just gonna like a quick opener that we're trying out recently, that I'm sure Jed forgot about. But you want to go ahead and like fill everybody in for who haven't seen your last episode? Who are you and what do you do?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm Enzo. I almost said 19. I'm a 20-year-old Minecraft content creator. I own a Minecraft server called the WillowSMP. If you didn't know, it's my whole personality, so I have to talk about it really quick.
Yeah.
I'm just a small little silly content creator. What about you guys? Do you guys introduce yourselves? Have you done that?
No.
For the purposes of this show,
No.
we're Vox and Jed. I don't think we've actually talked. I mean, we talked at
I don't-
length about what both of us do, but I don't think we've ever given a
That's
proper introduction to the
crazy.
audience. Now that I think
That's
about it,
Yeah.
crazy. They're just like, who are these two people?
that's just
Yeah.
like it's just become such part of like a conceit of the show that like that's Vox, that's Jed, and they fight about it. That's their deal.
That's their deal.
And they argue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to find out
argue.
more about us, you can find us elsewhere, I guess. You just kind of actually, this is the place to find stuff out about us. Watch all the
Yeah.
other episodes, and you'll figure out what Vox and I are about.
Yeah, go check out our
Um,
backlog.
Yes.
But you may have spilled the beans on a bit you were planning for this
Oh
episode.
yeah, you're right.
A few
'Cause
days
last
ago.
time I was here, I got interviewed, and you guys asked me all your normal questions for guests. So I mean, I guess I just have to take over your entire podcast. This is now an Enzo podcast featuring Voxel and Jed. You're welcome.
I see.
It's so epic to have smaller creators on my podcast here today. But
If you could name a podcast like this podcast, if you could rename it for yourself, what would you name it?
oh my
Similar
gosh,
theming.
similar
Like it would keep
theming?
the same it'd keep the same font and the background image.
we
and
gotta
everything.
leave and you gotta take it.
Yeah.
What's the
It would be like Enzo's right about everything. Let's talk about it.
That's so long. That's such a
No, it's
long
not.
time.
It would be such a pretty logo. I'm gonna make a little logo here for it now, and I'm gonna give it to
Alright.
you so you can edit it over your own for the rest of the podcast. You're welcome.
Okay,
Awesome.
Fantastic.
but yeah, no, it's in fact you've just given me all I need. I usually do for these guest episodes, I usually do the guest's profile picture as it, but I will put your podcast logo up there as part of the
People
as
aren't even
part of
gonna
the
be able to
episode.
read it. I'm gonna cry.
I
It's
can
gonna
send
be
you the
great.
question list that I have if you
Yes,
if you
wait,
really
yeah,
wanted
send it to
double
me,
down.
send it to me, send it to why did you do that before, Jed? I told you about this bit. Come on.
Because I don't know, I wasn't expecting you.
Okay,
There you go.
okay. Well,
I was
welcome
expecting you to go full
to
tilt.
my amazing podcast.
These
It's such
could
an
be in
honor to
any
have you
order.
guys on today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fantastic
Yeah.
to be here.
So I'm like 90% sure that I already heard the question about like the story behind your guys' OCs the last time I was on. I think you guys did talk about that a little bit, or at least your usernames.
Yeah.
At least your
I don't
usernames.
remember. Alright, it's been so
Okay.
long.
I don't know most of the stuff about you guys, so it's a kind of a good thing that I'm asking.
Okay.
Okay. We can start with this. What made you guys interested in streaming? I'm very curious.
I'll start. Vox. End of sentence. Anyway.
Yeah, Jed streams because I stream. The thing about
Oh,
the thing about the thing about that is I
you were
just kept
saying.
bringing Jed on because I don't have any streamer friends. I find it so hard
What?
to talk to content creators. Well, I have streamer friends now. I didn't have streamer friends a
Okay.
couple of years ago.
Okay, I was
And
gonna say,
let me
what are
rephrase.
we then, Voxel? Are you kidding
No,
me?
yeah.
I know you're a husband, and
But I
yet
don't-
we're not streamer friends. It's so crazy.
I find it so hard to talk to streamers, and like with notable exceptions, like I find it so hard to talk to other people who have this content bug because it puts such a thing.
Oh.
It puts such a thing in your brain, and it's not like it's Okay, so the thing about content creation is you have to be able to host and MC and be the like center of attention for an entire piece of content.
You gotta
And
be the
that's
main
sort of
character.
I find a lot of people bring that like sort of performer sensibility to their day-to-day life, which you know, in this specific respect brings a little bit of trouble sometimes when you're in a call with 20 people and they're all in that like center of
Oh,
attention mindset. It's real tough to get a
yeah.
word in edgewise, and it's nothing against anybody in particular. It just like it makes it a little hard to mingle, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I get that. I get that so much.
And
At first, when you started talking, I thought you were saying to Voxel, no, I want to answer this question first.
oh no, just Vox. Just Vox. Like Vox and I were already kind of good as a duo, like in where we met, which is VR chat instances. In VR chat instances, we would kind of
What?
steal the show because we would have like, you know, we would have a decent act, I guess, is what you would say.
You
And
guys met in VR?
yeah,
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
whole thing. It was great. It was the
Crazy.
pandemic, and so everybody was in
Yeah.
VR, and so
Oh.
you know,
We met in
yeah.
late 2020. But yeah, no, like, and Vox was just like, "Hey, I wanna play this game on stream. Do you want to do it with me?" And I was like, but sure, fuck it, I guess." And you know, it was few and far between for a while, and then we started playing co-op games on stream pretty consistently, and I picked up a PNG tuber so that I could appear on Vox's streams, and
Hey, bro.
then Vox is like, "Well, you're already there. You've got all the stuff you need. Why don't you just stream this next one? All you have to do is press the go live button." I was like, fine. And I did, and now we're here.
Aw, that's adorable.
Yeah.
What the heck? Okay.
Vox has a much more interesting what made you interested in streaming, I'm sure.
Not
Yeah, I'm curious.
really. It's a funny thing because a long time ago in the year 2006, when I was a wee little lad, I got introduced to the idea of video on the internet, and from that point forward, I genuinely would take like this little shitty Nokia camera at first, and then it became like iPhone cameras or whatever equipment I could get my hand on, really. Like over the next like decade, and I would just learn, and I would upload, and I would figure things out. And it was a whole lot of fun. It was a great time. I think I could still, if I really wanted to, I think I could trudge up some of that old Nokia footage if I really wanted to. 'Cause
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
wanna
on
see
the internet.
that.
It's on the
What?
internet. It's somewhere out there.
privatized, but
It's privatized, but
Damn.
it exists. It exists.
It's
it
out
does
there.
exist.
I'll find it one
Because
day.
I used to use my face in my content, and then I realized that
And,
isn't
like,
something I'm
full
super
legal
interested
name.
in. Yeah,
And
that's not
full
something
legal
I'm
name.
well, not full legal name, but I used to use my face and my legal name in my content, and I decided that maybe not. Maybe I'd like a little more separation between myself
Yeah.
and the things that I do online. Not for like digital footprint reasons, so much as just like so much as just like I don't know, you when you have that slight separation, I feel it allows like it helps me at least avoid that thing that I was talking about where like you're always on, you know, because it's not a
Yeah.
part of me. It's a part of Voxel, the rat, the guy on the internet, you know, and it's just like I get to
Internet rat.
like I get to go to the grocery store and just kind of be me and grab things and get out of there, you know, without putting on a whole show about it.
Oh
You
my
know?
gosh.
But you know, because I don't know, I just it helps me in that sort of a way. But eventually from there I did a rebrand, and then I got into I had dabbled in live streaming like as that started to become more and more accessible. And then eventually
Yeah.
and then eventually I realized that like live format is great because I'm lazy. I don't want to edit. I want to start recording the content and then I want to be done. And so
Oh
like
my gosh.
I realized that it was the most efficient way to put out the most content and have like the max amount of fun doing it was just like 4 hours, let's go, and then I'll have like a 4-hour piece of content, you know?
Yo.
And so that's how we got
Yeah.
here.
Oh my goodness.
No, yeah, but
Okay.
Vox started when he was a wee lad. I watched his Five Nights at Freddy's 2 review.
Five
Oh,
Nights
God.
at Freddy's 2 review.
You were
From the
so mad
release
about it,
day.
I think.
from release date. Yeah. No, it was
Yeah.
insane. I have so many little pieces like that. I think God, what was it? I was talking about fucking like some real 2012 shit. Like there is
Oh,
like
yeah.
I have my internet card. I am in a Harlem Shake video. I have been everywhere. You
Oh
know?
my gosh.
I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it all, I've done it all, and now I'm here. And I don't plan to go
Yeah, Vox is ancient.
anywhere. But Enzo, you have successfully managed to flip this because you ran it past me. You were like, yeah, I think I'm gonna try and like I think I'm gonna try to flip it and interview you guys. And then I was like, that's not gonna work. Like I left and I was like, that's not gonna work. Especially now that I know about it, they're a fool. They're a fool for informing me of this because now I know and will be able to like skirt my way around it and subvert even that bit. But no, I've just fallen into it because you've done the one thing that I am weak for, and it's talking about myself.
No way!
Were we trying to subvert this, Vox? I probably shouldn't have sent the question.
Yeah,
No,
but like I didn't tell
perfect.
you.
helped me perfectly, Jed.
You didn't tell me, no. So I mean, that's your
Okay.
problem.
I also came prepared with my own list of questions.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
that's
Alright.
right. You know when you texted me, what was the text? 20 minutes to showtime, everyone. Well, closer to 15. I crawled out of bed and I wrote a little list because I'm so prepared.
Alright, let's go, Miss
recently-
Podcast.
That's usually how we
I
do our
know.
topic lists. So you're on par.
I heard from you guys that you guys have recently watched one of the best pieces of media out there, The Walking Dead. I heard you guys mention it.
Ooh,
So what
we're
are your
getting into
thoughts?
the Walking Dead hour. I really like the Walking Dead.
I know.
I watched The Walking Dead way before Vox. I was the one who got Vox into The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Well, I started The Walking Dead on my own. I started The Walking Dead on my own. No, not the game. I played the game first before I watched the entire series. But I told you about this. We talked about The Walking Dead a couple of years ago, and I told you about this. About how, you know, in high school I started watching The Walking Dead because no one would shush about it, and so I was like, okay, well maybe you know something acquiring this much chatter, I should at least give it a look, right? And then I got up to the prison. And then I got to the point in the prison where things were kind of slow right before, like, literally an episode before the governor shows up, I stopped. That's where I stopped the show. And I was just like, I lost interest. And I was like, you know, it's zombies, but sure, you know.
Crazy.
It just sort of lost me. And then Jed's like a big Walking Dead head and eventually convinced me to loop back around on it. So I did.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. But with this watch through, I actually watched the rest of season 10 and season 11. I didn't watch through the entirety of season 10 because I got to a point where I was just like, I miss the characters. I'm not interested in this anymore.
Oh no.
But we ended up watching season 10 and 11, and they were good. They were fine.
They were okay. That is what I'll say on that. They were okay. I miss everyone.
I think my big fault with late Walking Dead is just how quickly, like, we went from, like, maybe 1 to 2 character deaths a season up to, alright, the cast is a revolving door now. Like, anybody can go at any time. And they kind of just, like, ship of Theseus, our main cast, into a completely different group of people over the course of, like, a season or two. And it just lost me for a minute there.
Yeah.
It's so sad. And some people, oh my gosh, heavy spoilers. I feel like we should have started with that. Now that we're talking about The Walking Dead, no one is safe. I'm going to be talking about the most random stuff. Some characters weren't even supposed to die, and they killed them off.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I own all the Walking Dead comics all the way up to Negan. Like halfway through the Negan arc. They were never supposed to kill off Carl.
Yeah. And Sophia doesn't die either.
Yeah, don't even get me started. I can't believe they would do that to my boy.
I don't necessarily think, like, I think that them separating from the comic was okay. I don't have a big issue with that, and I actually like it to see, like, oh, this is where the story could have been, you know, were this not to happen. But my main issue is when it's like, man, so this is my unpopular opinion, and I don't quite hold the same opinion anymore after watching The Ones Who Live and everything like that. I for a very long time, thought The Walking Dead should have ended halfway through season 9. I think Rick should have died, and that should have been it.
What?
Yeah,
Crazy.
that was my unpopular opinion.
Oh.
But like, you have to see it from my perspective. Like,
Mhm.
halfway through season 10, of just like, this is not the same show anymore.
It
Like,
isn't.
Rick is dead, Carl is dead. Like,
It feels very different later on, especially when you look back at those first
It-
episodes. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, that's my washing machine. And you're like, how did we get here? Where are we? Why did this happen?
Yeah. Where it's like, all we got left is Daryl and Carol, and
They're
then like
so
Michonne
perfect,
dips
so
out.
We were
okay.
we were talking about it the other night. We were talking about because I had last night even because I had gotten a meme
Mhm.
that included a clip from the very first episode, the clip of Rick like falling out of the fucking hospital bed, like minutes into the first episode, and I was just like, this isn't the same take, is it? Why is there a different take of this scene in this meme? And Jed went, no, I'll tell you what happened. They had a flashback to it. They had a flashback to this moment in like season 5 or 6, and they reshot it. That's what you're thinking of. And it's like, oh, you're right. And it just
Well,
like
it was
showed
season
to
9,
me
it was
like,
when he was dying.
oh no, yeah, it was season 9. It was just like a testament to me of like, man, the show's aesthetic changed so heavily over, an entire like set of seasons. I don't even necessarily think it was for the worse, but like it definitely is like a drastically different show at the end. And I think it's largely for the
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
The real question is though, out of all the seasons, who is your favorite character?
I like Eugene. I'm a big Eugene fan personally. I think his arc is very
Eugene!
nice. I love
Aw.
Eugene.
Listen, don't kill me, but Negan.
Negan?
Negan
Yeah.
is such a
Negan?
good character. I don't think
What?
obviously
like
he's the bad
Negan
guy
as
and
a
all, and he
person.
did some awful things.
Yeah.
But like, I think Negan's ongoing arc is really good too. I more importantly though, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's performance just
Oh.
enraptures me. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He's like
I
that.
adore Jeffrey Dean
Jed
Morgan.
was there. Jed was there. The night that Negan first shows up and bashes some fucking heads in, I almost stopped watching the show out of just like anger
Yeah.
and upset. That is the most like viscerally upset a show has ever made me. Of just like I think I told Jed, if this guy's not dead by the end of the season, I'm not watching the show anymore. But we finished it. That obviously wasn't true. I was just having a moment.
Yeah, Vox is like, I don't want to watch it because it just feels like the characters are just able to die, and like I feel bad
Well,
about
no,
it.
it's
And I
not
was like, but
character
that's
death
like,
that bothers me. It's not character death that bothers me, Jed. It was just like I don't know. I don't really want to like because I could see the arc they were setting up, and it was like subservience to the saviors for a little bit, and then triumph, and it's just like I don't know how much of that I can watch, dude. I don't know how much I can watch of these characters who, previous to this moment were very, yeah, we can take on anything. It'll be fine. We're all right. Everything's great. To just like everything sucks. We've finally found something we can't handle. The shit blows.
Oh no.
It was just such a
I also-
downturn emotionally that like, I was like, oh man. And I really like
Negan.
everybody else. I really liked one of the characters who got their brains fucking bashed in. Can you guess which one?
Oh, Glenn?
It's not Abraham.
Abraham was great.
I liked Abraham though. I did like Abraham in like a
Abraham
weird
was
way.
funny.
I loved Abraham.
I
but
love
when-
That episode
I
where he
love the
gets like
scene
the
where he's,
fucking
like, on
rocket
the
launcher
roof.
and the box of cigars.
Yeah, and he
He's on his
just,
Duke
like, is
Nukem shit.
young with a rocket launcher and just smoking a cigar. It's great. And he like throws on dress blues. Abraham's great. But anyway, yeah, Glenn's dead as fuck, and everybody hated that.
But no,
I-
yeah.
No, I watched The Walking Dead with my roommate because some random winter morning when I was really sick, I was looking for a show to watch, and I remembered that Chalubi had recommended The Walking Dead very adamantly to like an insane amount. So I'm like, I guess I'll watch it and I'll start it. And I get up to the scene where Rick's like on his horse and he turns the corner and there's just a like shit ton of zombies, and my roommate walks out and goes, "Oh, we're watching this now, huh?" But she had stopped right when Glenn died because he was her favorite character. and she was like, I
No.
can't do this no more. I
I'm
can't
almost
do it. So
glad.
that's where she left off and where I started.
I'm almost glad I knew.
Yeah.
Because that was like the one thing that I knew
You
going into the
knew?
show. I knew because I was surrounded by. I started watching The Walking Dead the first time I started watching it because the people around me loved it, and it was right before the Negan arc started, and I was just like, oh man, surely this show is great, and I started it, and then the night that Glenn died and the Monday morning, or like the Monday morning afterward was insane because I remember like everybody around me was having like it was like somebody in our own personal lives had died. They were that upset about it. And so like you couldn't go anywhere like on social media and in real life. I just could not escape the fact that this character dies and how he dies. I didn't know how it led up though.
My gosh.
But I'm almost glad I knew
it helped the Abraham
because
part.
yeah, it helped the Abraham part sell a little more. But like I was almost happy that I knew because when I found out like when we got to that point, I was already in a very vulnerable state about my opinions on the show. And if I had that happen as a surprise, I'm not certain that wouldn't have pushed me over the edge and made me just like, all right, I'm done. You know?
I cried and we took like a month off watching it. I'm gonna be so for real.
Yeah, no, I powered
We
right
almost
through it
took a
because I had
break.
known about it.
Oh.
Yeah, we
Didn't
almost did. Vox
we almost
got
took a break for me.
Yeah.
We almost took a break for me because I needed a minute to cool off. Like we did have to like pause the show and I had to like pace around my room for a good like 15 minutes. But we almost took a break after that episode.
Vox ended up coming to the conclusion that he wasn't mad because it was bad writing. He was mad because it was such good
I was mad because it was
writing that he
good.
got so invested.
I was mad
Yeah.
because it was such a compelling piece of television that it drove me to that point to feel for these characters so hard. You know? Like, I was genuinely mad as though it was happening to me and not mad about a decision made on a TV show. You know?
Yeah. But like with Negan, the reason that I find Negan so compelling is because we've talked about it in like our personal friend group who we watched it with. If you were to start the show from Negan's perspective, I think that you would be following an anti-hero instead of a villain. I think that if it were painted like they paint Rick, I think that Negan very easily could have been sold as like an anti-hero or like a doing what needs to get done because Rick is an awful person too. Like if you take his actions and then like take them out of the context of the fucking show, it's like holy shit. We've been following like a psychopath this entire time.
Especially
so cool.
Especially when you get to the very late series episode, which happens during an almost like drought of good episodes, where fuck it, we're going back in time and doing a Negan origin story episode where we actually get to see his wife Lucille, and we get to see how that whole thing actually went down. And I don't know, I watched that. And it really like because I wasn't with Jed initially on that. Like I'm sure if you watched from Negan's perspective all the way up to now, that you would be on his side. And it's like, yeah, but I don't think so.
No.
Because like I know some of the things that Negan's done, and like I don't know, Rick's never like ritually fried a man's face off for defying him. So I don't know. But like then I saw that episode and I was like, you know, maybe because I like maybe having your wife die and like having all this shit happen to you. Now that I've watched it happen to him firsthand and known like who he was before the fall and everything, it just became such a thing to me of like, oh man, okay, maybe this does get him enough sympathy points to become like the absolute maniac that he was.
No.
Like he for sure thinks that he's doing the right thing. That's why the whole Rick sequence fucks him up so much because in that moment where he gets his neck slit, he realizes that he was wrong the whole time. That it has not been saving people. And that's what crushes him way more than getting his neck slit.
I was real scared.
Yeah.
I was real scared after they cut his throat. I kind of wanted him to die then and there, and then they let him live, and I was like, where are we going with this? And we got a neat redemption arc out of it. But I was scared. I was scared because the first time, like, they keep cutting to him in the prison cell, just sitting there quietly, and the first time he actually speaks, it's in like a very raspy, very like low grumble, and like not at full volume at all. And I was like, oh no, did they do like lasting damage to his vocal cords or some shit? Is that what we're
No,
going with? Is
Oh.
Negan just going to speak like this for the remainder of the show? Because that's sad. That really seems like it'll kneecap
That
his
is.
performance, you know?
Yeah.
But no, yeah. They got out of it. They got out of it. It's fine. It's okay. I think Negan's redemption arc is pretty good. I think the writers chose to especially in Dead City, it like doubles down on this, but the writers have chosen that Negan's path to being a redeemable character is that like he still pays for the bad things he's done with literally every personal connection he makes afterwards. Like whether it's a direct
Yeah.
consequence of finding out who Negan was or Negan having to do some self-sabotage or some other set of circumstances. Every
Yeah.
person close to Negan will find out something about Negan or have an interaction with Negan that leads them to completely write him off and disregard him as a human being. And I that's the only reason that I can just like, I don't know, is it really like that? Because like, is it really a punishment deserving of the crime is the thing, and it's just like, probably, yeah. And I don't know, I don't know if I'd put that on a real person. However, it does help me like enjoy his redemption arc to know that he will never truly be like redeemed or get away from what he did,
Yeah. He can do his best and he can do as much good as he wants to, and it will never be enough.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was
We
just
have
sad he killed Glenn. I'm not over it. I'm not over it. I loved him. He was
You watched through
one
all
of my
of the
favorites.
Negan redemption arc and was just like, nah, he killed Glenn.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't get over that.
Honestly, though, if I came into it with that
God.
perspective, if I was watching the Negan arc with the perspective of, yeah, this is fine, but I wish I was hanging out with Glenn right now. I think I might feel the same way.
I wish Glenn was still here.
I don't know. I love Negan. He's such an asshole, and it's great. He's such a charismatic asshole.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think Stephen Ogg as his right hand man. What do they call him in the show? Simon. I think he does. I think he does a pretty good job of good job playing his character as well, and playing like the second in command to a guy like Negan.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost makes me sympathetic. Because I've yelled about it before. I've yelled about it before of ow, shit, my elbow on my desk. I've yelled about it before of just like Stephen Ogg is kind of acts like a spoiled child sometimes for being recognized as only like Trevor from GTA, when it's like, oh boo-hoo, the game that still to this day pays you a lot of money for your likeness is the reason, like, and is the reason you have a lot of the nice things that you have is going to be haunting and looming over you for the rest of your life. Oh, how sad. But then you see his performance as, like, Simon, and you realize that, like, this guy really is more than Trevor. He's a really fantastic actor, and it kind of is a shame that he kind of gets archetyped as these sorts of, like, Trevor characters. But, like, I will always be here to make fun of rich people complaining about their problems. I will always be here for it.
Oh,
so I will never truly forgive him.
Yeah, but man, I like Negan a lot. Just the way that he's just like, when he comes into Rick's house and makes spaghetti for his kid and his infant daughter, that is such a power move, and I love it. It's such
crazy.
It then also
genuinely diabolical.
It then also spurred a bit because in the third season, Herschel, before he dies, talks about like when he's like, helping everybody recover from the swine flu.
We love Herschel.
He's like,
Herschel.
He's like, all right, the council, we're gonna make 2 new rules. Tuesday night is spaghetti night. Thursday night is also spaghetti night. And so we were making these jokes about Herschel loving spaghetti. And so then we came into this point where it's like, I made your kid spaghetti. And we were like, oh, if Herschel was here, he would adore Negan.
You'd be on Negan's side immediately. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think that's so funny. I think that's so funny to imply such like this like sweet old man character would totally do that.
For spaghetti.
Well, because I think about it and I was like, yeah, I was like, man, it sucks that we lost Herschel when we did, but realistically, how long's Herschel got left?
Not
barring
that
incident.
long.
So I think we got about as much out of him as we could,
Although he died
realistically.
in just about the worst way possible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely horrid. But yeah, no, The
but,
Walking Dead's good.
The Walking Dead is. Have you seen any of the side series?
I watched a little bit of that, like, other, I can't remember the name, that, like, weird other Walking Dead show that, like starts from before the zombie
Fear the
virus.
Walking Dead?
Yeah, I watched like
Fear
3
the Walking
episodes of
Dead.
that before I watched The Walking Dead because I didn't know what it was and I had zero interest. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
then I watched literally exactly half of Dead City and that's it.
Ah, damn. The Ones Who Live is pretty good. I don't think it's that bad. I think it. A lot of these side series do have a habit of like taking their characters like a couple steps of character development back to redo it. It's like I don't know.
Just
But,
to give them something to do in the new series, I feel. Which that's what I felt going into Dead
Aw.
City. Finishing Dead City though, they wrap it in such a way that it's like, no, I could see why Maggie would do that now. You know, I could see why, you know, it makes sense in the end, but it does feel very regressive to the characters and how they behave to sort of put them through that. I'm a real big fan of The Walking Dead the game. I think The Walking Dead the game is real fucking good. Top-notch stuff.
Oh yeah,
Which game?
The Telltale game.
Mhm.
Oh, I have all of them, and I haven't finished them yet, but I need to. This is inspiring me to sit down and play them.
I bought.
Oh,
You should
they're
stream
good,
it. You
yeah.
should. There's such a stream game. I genuinely wish I
should.
streamed it so bad because it was such
Oh
a.
my god.
It was such a like. It sits on my list of regrets when it comes to video games. Of like, I should have streamed this. I should have streamed Outer Wilds, and a few other various
The
bits
Way
and
Out.
bobs. A Way Out. Yeah, we should have streamed A Way Out together because that game was fun. But The Walking Dead, the game, is a really fun narrative experience from beginning to end. But I feel like I had so much fun with it.
Oh yeah.
Not only because it's really good, I think I would have still had fun with it on stream, but I had a whole lot of fun because I had, like, the best way to play that game, genuinely, is to have, like, 4 or 5 people in a call with you watching along and going, like, oh, you should tell them to fuck off. You should choose to tell them to fuck off. And it's like, yeah, you're right. You know, it's like having, like, a devil and an angel on your shoulder to, like, convince you into doing shit. It's great.
Yeah. Because there are some really funny things you can do in Telltale games like that, where it's just like, man, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Fuck you, get out, leave. It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
There's
that's
also-
an option you can choose.
Also, having someone around who's played them is also a lot of fun because it's very fun to go, I want to do this funny thing. I really, really want to choose the funny dialogue option. Is it going to ruin my friendship with this character forever? No? Okay, I'm doing it.
Oh.
Like, having someone there for those little moments of, like, this would be really funny. I don't want it to have a lasting impact on my playthrough, though.
This
But-
action will have consequences.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
know if it'll have consequences or not sometimes. I'm just like, because usually they make it very obvious when it's like, I'm about to make a choice that will affect the rest of the game, you know? But it's like, I don't want to affect the rest of the game because I let Clementine smoke a cigarette once, you know? Which I did not do!
Yeah.
I did not do it, I chose not to! I did not let Clementine smoke or drink throughout the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
I would
goodness.
never, I
This
would
is like baby
never.
Clementine too.
Yeah, like, dude, throughout the game, I don't know, it's so good. The first season, I disagreed with it after the first season, when we did that whole perspective shift to just Clementine, but it just, like, it really did a good job for me of, like, playing through the first season. You're in this sort of,
How much of the game have you played?
Yeah, how much of this
Literally,
game have you played?
Barely any. Barely any. This is all spoilers.
That's
I
why I'm not.
swear.
That's why I'm not saying what exactly happens, because I think seeing it play out is really
Yeah.
something. But once we switch and we play as Clementine, names are slipping my brain right now. What is his name? Oh, it's out of my head. I don't know. But
The main character of the first
the main
game?
character from season 1. Yeah. Do you know, Jed?
Oh fuck, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Like, I've got the image of him in my head. I just don't know what his name is. But either way, we switch perspectives from him to Clementine, and the whole first season is you know, playing father figure to Clementine. And so after that first season, it really cements in you just like when you're like guiding Clementine's decisions, I never got out of that character's headspace, and I was constantly just sort of
Oh.
father figuring Clementine around, like, no, that's a bad call. Don't do that, you know? Like, I wasn't playing as Clementine. I was playing as Clementine's like guardian angel the whole time.
Aww.
And it just like
Yeah.
it's a very sweet game. I think all 5 seasons of The Walking Dead are very sweet. And I feel like it does more with the actual horror of The Walking Dead than the show does, personally, because the show is very interpersonal, and so is the game. And so is the game. But like there are points in the game where we really just dive into how like just how awful on an innocuous level people can be in these situations, and just how
Yeah.
scary even one walker can be when placed correctly in a scene, you know? But like the show plays around with those concepts a lot too, but there are ways that it doesn't. There are ways to show that don't really work in a setting where you're not allowed to interact. And so the game makes good use of its ability to interact, because there are bits where you're just watching a movie, but you know, it quickly becomes you're in it now, you know? And I dig that. I
Yeah.
dig, you know, it's only really interactive when there's a good opportunity that arises from being interactive. And so, you know, you get control of the characters, and, you know, like full control of the characters in an area, and you know that like shit is about to go down. You know? It's very fun. It's very good.
No.
I highly recommend going through and streaming The Walking Dead the game if that's your bid, or at least just playing it,
Nope,
because it's
you've inspired
fantastic.
me.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic from beginning to end. I also like the art style.
But yeah,
Wow.
It looks like the comics in the first season. I really dig that. They almost did it in black and white and chose not to in the end, because like, you know, they wanted to do it in color and play with color. But there are a lot of monochrome segments. Like there's a bit in the sewers late in season 1 where everything is like, it's all like monochrome black and green, and it looks very pop art and very cool. They play around with aesthetics like that a lot, which is fun. But no, yeah,
But that's our
the game.
Walking Dead corner.
Yeah, that's thanks for joining us on 40 minutes of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
love
great,
The Walking
'cause-
Dead. It's okay. We've led back to streaming here a bit.
I love that we get to talk about The Walking Dead, because we've been meaning to at some point, because I mentioned that we were watching The Walking Dead to you when we were in like season 3, I think. The first time, and you were like, "Oh, The Walking Dead," and I heard that and was like, "All right, I gotta talk to Enzo about The Walking Dead at some point." And I just never got there. I never got around to it, but we're here now. And because I fucking bolted upright. This is for the audience to say, because both of you know the story. I was like thinking all week of just like, oh man, we've asked Enzo all of our questions that we usually ask people who come into stream. Or into the show. I don't know what we're going to talk about for 2 hours, and I just like mulled it over for the week, and like on Wednesday or Thursday I woke up in the middle of the night and went, The Walking Dead, we're gonna talk about The Walking Dead.
We're gonna talk about The Walking Dead. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness.
But,
Yeah, no, The Walking Dead is really something. I quite enjoy it.
No, it's been nice to talk about The Walking Dead, actually, because in a lot of like inner circles behind the scenes I'm not allowed to. Because
you got a lot of friends who haven't seen it.
No, not only that, but so Chalubi got me into it, right? He recommended it to me. I started watching it, and then he's like, "Let me know when you get to this episode." And then I'd get to it, and I'd text him, and I'm like, "I hate you so much. That's crazy. Like, why did this happen? I'm gonna cry." But every time we get into a call, we'll be working on something, and if someone brings up anything Walking Dead related, we're gone. Our brains. Nope, no conversation except for The Walking Dead for the next half an hour minimum. It's terrible.
My God.
Yeah.
It's a friend group canon event, Jed.
It is.
Because before we watched it in the group, Yvie, a friend of ours, and Jed, who had already both seen The Walking Dead up to a point, started watching it.
Hadn't.
Oh, Yvie hadn't. No, you were watching it with
yourself.
Yvie. Yeah, you were watching it with Yvie for the first time. And I wasn't really that interested, and the rest of our friend group wasn't really that interested in sitting in for a whole show of that length and committing. And, well, I was interested. The problem was, nobody told me it was happening until they were in season 2. And so I was like, what are you talking about? which is insane. I think I left for a week. I think I ducked out for a week for some reason. I don't know why I wouldn't have known. But because we hang out in the same VC literally every day for like 8 hours a day. I would have known.
During the era where you would like.
Oh,
in
right.
The honeymoon phase of your.
I was in the honeymoon phase of my
relationship.
Well, now we've been married, so that implies that was recent. But like, we were in the first like couple months of my relationship, and I was trying to time management everything and make sure I had enough time to make content, and enough time to hang out with friends, and enough time to spend with my partner. And so I had to make a big effort to be active with friends because I was very passionate about my current romance, and I'm always very passionate about making things. And so finding the in-between time to actually hang out with friends was very difficult for a period of like a couple months.
For 2 months.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was
like,
MIA for a couple months. And so I missed out on the opening of it. And so I was just like, well, I'm not going to jump in on season 3. All right. I'll let it sit. And so I did. But every single time anything, like something completely innocuous would happen in like a game we were playing, Jed and Wifey would both go like, oh, it's like that time in The Walking Dead. And it's like, dude.
It was specifically Zomboid.
Oh, we were playing Project Zomboid. That's why. Because it kept coming up. And I was like, dude, I'm so sick of hearing about The Walking Dead. I'm so fucking sick of it. There's no way that this situation could possibly... Because, like, the thing is, it kept applying to nicher and nicher situations where it's like, I'm gonna eat these berries. Anybody cool if I eat these berries out of the cabinet in here? Oh
God,
dude, it's just like that time in The Walking Dead. And it's like, how? In what way? When? Point me to a scene now.
All did apply. Every single one did apply.
Well, Wiley admitted to me in confidence that sometimes they would do it just to piss me off. Which is funny. It's really funny. But, you know, which unfortunately, Wivey will never join us for a stream again, which is very sad because they've confided in us privately. They're like, I just don't like streaming. I don't like it. I do it because you guys do it, and I don't find any joy in it. I just want to play video games with my friends. And I was like, that's fine. We can not do that. That's okay. But the point here is that like we also had a problem where these two would just go off about The Walking Dead, and we had to have like a prohibition on talking about The Walking Dead publicly.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. No, yeah. You want to segue us out of this topic, Jed? So we can get on with our lives?
No, I'm not the podcast host this time.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, right, Enzo. Can you transition us out of here with a question?
Forget that. You're right. You know, I'm very curious. This is something I struggle with because I think the last time I talked to you, I looked at you. I think last time I was on your podcast and the last time I talked to you, I said, watch Voxel. I'm going to stream so much. I'm going to create so much content. You're not even, and then I did not. So you stream a lot. Like, I wish I could stream as much as you do. How do you do it? I'm very curious.
All right. Here's a time to get into something. I don't have a life. I literally don't do anything all day. If I weren't streaming, I would have all day to myself. You know why? Because I am profoundly blind. Like, legally. I'm not able to drive, and the government has deemed me physically incapable of working due to it. And so they pay me a decent chunk of change, which I say that it's like $1,000. It's really just barely enough a month to get by. I live on $10K a year. It's insane. But
whoa.
Through tight budgeting, I make it work. And so I realized in high school that because that money had been coming to my legal guardian for my entire childhood, and I was well aware of that. And so once that money started coming my way, I realized, hey, wait a minute. If I get a grant and go to college, or if I get a scholarship and go to college, or any financial aid for that and go to college, this goes away. So college is out of the question for me. You know what? That gives me the perfect excuse to do. Fuck off and follow my dreams. You know? I've got all the money I could need to stay alive, so I'm just gonna throw myself at my art until I get somewhere with it that I don't need that government assistance anymore, and I can be my own man, you know? And I'm getting there. It's slow goings, but you know, I couldn't have picked a better field for I need a decade to get my foot in the door. You know? But no, that's how I have so much time to stream. I stream so often because, and I'm working on stream stuff so often because I just literally have nothing else that I can be doing with my day that is of any more importance than that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that's
And I
crazy.
stream that often because I made a commitment to Vox, and if I didn't, I think he would hang me.
I need a voxel friend in my life that just forces me to stream. You know, I think that would be very beneficial for the community.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah,
the thing is, Jed says yes to just about anything. Jed will do anything you tell him, basically. He'll commit to anything as long as it's like a week out from now. And so it's just like, hey, 2 Thursdays from now, are you free on like 8 p.m.? Yeah. All right, cool. You good for a stream? Sure. And then at 8 p.m. come Thursday, I step in like a mob enforcer, and I'm like, all right, so we're streaming. That's what we're doing now. Sit down at your desk. You made this commitment. I'm already set up. You don't want me to look like an idiot because you didn't show up, do you? And so he'll come in and stream with me, mostly out of pity, I assume.
Yeah.
But
nah. I do.
But we get it done.
But you know.
Yeah, I don't like to fault anybody who's like in your situation, and so where it's like, yeah, you've got like a job, you've got like things to do outside of streaming, and so it's just like, I've never had to work a day in my life, and I get to do what I love every day, you know, and treat it like it's work, even though it doesn't pay the bills, and it's you know, it's a rare blessing that very few people get. Via the United States government.
Oh yeah, not the best country to live in for such
but like,
situations.
you know, I found out that I could get more if I were born in literally almost any other first world country. But the sucky thing is, immigration in most countries. I don't know if you know this. Immigration's very ableist. The whole United States, like, send us your poor, your needy, your like disabled or whatever. Like, that doesn't apply in other countries. Canada won't take you for something as simple as like a heart condition or autism. Anything that would, like, any country with free healthcare is very strict about who they let in. Yeah. It's insane. I couldn't live in Canada or Scotland or the UK or Ireland. Well, I think Scotland's in the UK, actually. But, like, most of Europe, it's insane.
Yeah.
That is what...
Yeah. But, I mean, I can go to those places. I'm allowed to be there. I just can't ever become a citizen.
Damn.
Yeah. Actually, I think you could if we were to perform some sort of plan where I moved to Scotland and then we...
Are you going to suggest we get married?
Quote, relationship.
Married.
And then,
got married.
and then you could come to Scotland. And then we could get a divorce. And then you could remarry your husband. Then you could your husband could follow us to Scotland. And then we could all live in Scotland.
I'm already married to my husband. I could send him to Scotland, do what's required to be counted as married in Scotland. But it would be funnier to divorce and then remarry and then divorce and remarry again. Probably not, actually.
Moved to Scotland.
He doesn't have any diagnoses. He doesn't have any diagnosis that would bar him, but like he just like he has some conditions that doctors just like, we can't afford doctors' appointments is the problem. And so like he hasn't had that like officially looked at. It's just something we're saving for. You know, but like once he gets his diagnosis for certain things and figures out exactly what's wrong with him, I'm certain it would fall under the categories of, this shit is bad, we don't want your kind here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, but like, I mean, I just have a high heart rate and blood pressure.
Answer to that question.
Say, you know, just to divorce Basil, marry Jed, move to Scotland. New game plan. Don't tell Basil I said that. Basil can't listen to this.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't know anything about this. It's fine.
Vox made a joke last night because he was like, my platonic friendships and my romantic friendships are very different, and they start as a very different thing. And if you're a platonic friend, you will. I know, but like if you're a platonic friend, you will never have a chance with me romantically. And I jokingly went, "Damn it."
Oh yeah, because Jed was joking. I wasn't, because we were having a very serious conversation about just like just talking about why my husband wasn't like in my like inner circle Discord for a very, very long time, where I only have like friends that I've known for like 4 or 5 years now, and like why he only got in after marriage. And it's like, I don't like my friendships and my relationships to mix, because I don't want to end a relationship and then, like, not that I'm planning on it, but, and especially not now that we're married. That's why he's in that Discord now. But like, before we were married, it's like, I don't want something drastic to happen and this relationship to end and put all my friends who have now also become friends with my partner in a rough patch, because like, or in like an uncomfortable spot because of me.
Oh,
And so like, I like to let those things sit separate in a lot
damn.
of cases. Yeah. It's a whole thing. But no, yeah, that's to loop back around to the answer to the question. That's why I stream so often. That is why I stream I literally have nothing to do.
We got sidetracked. But
Yo.
yeah. Shop podcast host. Come on. Next
Yeah,
question.
pick up.
My
What's the
bad,
next
my
question?
bad. I gotta pick up the slack here, you know. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
we got
I'm
like
so
an hour and
sorry.
10 to go. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Oh, how will I ever survive? It's okay. Well, we talked about, why you stream so much, and how you do it. How when
Mhm.
like not having to work outside and all that. What is your
Yeah.
ultimate goal though? Like where are we ending up here, you know?
Oh
You gonna
boy,
be famous, Voxel?
me and Jed
You
were
gonna be
just
famous,
talking
Jed?
about this.
No.
Me and Jed were just
Oh.
talking about this the other day, of like, where the hell are we going with this whole thing? And
Yeah.
the thing that I settled on was, I'm not really a numbers guy. The numbers don't really matter to me. I want to be able to perform, and I want people to be able to watch. Those are my two stipulations for streaming, and I suppose I've already got it. But the problem is when I play the numbers game with myself, it's like, because like, if we want to break it down, it's like, I want to be at 500 followers by the end of the year, and I've done the exact math on how to make that happen. Like, at what rate I would
Ayo.
need to be gaining followers. 1.6 followers per stream is my current goal between now and the end of the year. Because I did the math, I have over 50 streams left if I keep on schedule before the end of the year.
Oh.
Which seems like a lot. It's only like 3 a week. It's not that big of a deal. But my ultimate goal is like, I'm never satisfied with myself is the issue. I'm never happy is my problem. I mean, I'm happy to have what I have, don't get me wrong, and it's not like I'm angry that I'm not further along or sad about it or anything. It's just that like, when I'm doing my best, I always feel like I could do better. And so it's just like, all right, I hit 500, no time to celebrate. When's 750? It's
I
just
feel
like,
that.
and the problem is, I don't know, like, Jed has to, like, wrangle me in sometimes of, like, where are the breaks? When does it end? When will you hit a number and celebrate it and be happy and satisfied with yourself?
2
Yeah.
million.
But I think
like,
just, like, my ultimate goal, real quick, is just, I wanna have a good time, and I wanna make a living doing it. Those are my two goals.
Yeah.
I don't know, as long as I'm still having fun doing it, I guess I'll do it. And as long as I still have time. My ultimate goal is not like streaming is like a sidetrack hobby.
Yeah,
that I do
Jed's on the
mainly just to
Chalubi
make
track
friends.
where he's streaming, but he
I
also is
am.
like doing like, he's gonna become a doctor.
I'm getting my
Oh
doctorate.
my
Well, a psychologist.
gosh.
He's gonna be Dr.
Soon.
Jed pretty soon.
A doctor of psychology, yeah.
Psychology.
I would like to be a therapy. I would like to be a therapist. Jesus Christ, Fox, what are you doing?
I would
You're
like
speech
to
jammering my
be a
brain.
therapy.
Shut the fuck up!
Is that what you
But,
told them? Is that what you told them on your college application?
Yep.
in red crayon? I would like to be a therapy, please.
Yeah.
That's
No, and that's
crazy.
not going great right now.
Oh?
Things get really hectic when you're going to move across the country.
Yeah, colleges don't like it when you want to leave and go to a different college across the fucking nation with very little
Yeah,
lead time.
I feel like they wouldn't like that, actually.
I got a couple of credits, and some of them got ruined for like, I don't know what's happened. It's really bad luck is what's happened to me, because the first time that I took some credits, I took two courses, just to ease myself into it because I was 16, and they were, and I had to move my sister out of her house, and she wasn't able to do it herself, so I had to can a couple of classes to help her leave the house and not lose like a bunch of money for my mom from moving my sister. So like that killed those 2 courses. And then I finally, I registered again. Those courses got canned by the college because it's not a very like a super popular college, and if there's less than 20 students in a certain class, and I'm taking pretty niche classes for the college, then they won't run the class. So I had that happen. Those classes got canned. Fuck. All right, this semester I had actually done like 4 or 5. I think I had done 4 courses, and I was doing a great job, and I got A's in all of them. Did a really great job. And then this semester that I was supposed to be in, I was like, okay, I would like to get those 2 classes that I had flunked because I dropped out. I would like to get those classes back done, and I'll get my GPA to a 4.0 so I can move to Florida and have a 4.0 GPA. They did the thing again where they were like, not enough people are taking these 2 classes. Fuck you. And so
Damn.
like I would have gotten another class this semester, but it was just like, I'm moving to Florida. I don't know what's going to transfer. I don't want to get my heart set on any of these credits. I just want to have a 4.0 is what I wanted to have, because that will help me get into any college I want over there. But no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a conversation with somebody at my current college to be like, hey, how can we fix this? Can I test out of these type of thing? Because like my GPA that would be a 4.0, because it is 2 zeros, it has taken it down to like a fucking like 3.1, and like that's good, but
Damn. That is good, but also
I'm mad
I
about
can
it.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
my
makes
college
sense.
career has been rough, but it will get easier when I'm settled in and
Yeah,
I'm going to a
well,
college that is a little less not psychology friendly. But
Well, yeah, but they still have a psychology course. You'll be fine.
they
You'll
have
do
psychology
fine.
courses here. It's just
And
that
it's a
not a
higher
lot of people take
population,
them.
right?
Yeah, by like 500,000. So yeah.
So you probably won't run into, like, even though the classes are a little niche, you probably won't run into, we're simply not doing this class because we don't have the students for it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So at least you'll be able to
No.
take the classes, even if they are a little empty. But hey, empty classes means more one-on-one time with your
Yeah.
professors, so that's, a solid
I
up.
had a lot of good relationships with my professors, but yeah, I'm not a streamer.
But coming back around to streaming, Enzo, what are your goals for streaming, if I could turn this question back on you? Because that's a really good
whoa.
question, and one that we did not ask you last time, and I'm very excited to ask you that.
True.
That's one
Where are
of
you
my
going?
questions.
Was it one of your questions? Did you ask that?
You know,
Oh, well.
Yeah.
it's okay. I don't remember my answer, so it's fine. It's okay. We're 17 episodes in. People probably forgot my answer too, so I'll re-answer.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I've been streaming, off and on for the last 4 years. Though more off than on, unfortunately. I would love for it to be my life. Like my whole life. Right now, I'm working, unfortunately. Like my job's okay. It's not bad, but also like it doesn't leave a lot of time in the day for streaming when I want it to. I work about 50 hours in the span of 4 days.
Hmm.
And it gets to my weekend, I just want to like sleep the entire time.
Yeah.
And that's not very productive when you want to be a content creator or a streamer, but I would love for it to be like the end game goal, I'd love to have a full like fledged career in it. Whenever I go to huge events like VidCon, or I'm hanging out with some of my streamer friends who are, just absolutely killing it in what they do, I'm like, damn, I would give anything to do this. So now I just gotta start, I guess, treating it that way, I gotta actually create content to be a content creator.
Right. I catch myself
Yeah.
slipping up. It's a very, I don't know, fake it till you make it is a principle that I live by in everything that I do, of just like,
Yeah.
everybody is only as professional as they behave, really. Like, you are only as much the professional as you make yourself. Like, I catch myself sometimes, and it's kind of, I find it kind of cringe to do it, for lack of a better word for it, but I find it kind of embarrassing almost, because, like, I know that this isn't my job, and pretty much everybody who looks at my numbers for even a second knows that I'm not making anything off of this. But sometimes I catch myself calling it work, is the issue of just like, but I gotta go do my thing. I gotta go do work. But I guess that's more just emblematic of just that's where I want to be. I want to be able to tell people, yeah, I gotta go to work and be able to sit down at my desk and play Minecraft for 4 hours. Like that's what I want out of my life.
No, I
That's
feel
really
that
what I
so
want for
hard.
me. Yeah, I don't know, and I
think
have a
we
hard
got
time.
this.
Yeah, I think we got this. I think you've got it under control because like I don't know, I think it's weird seeing people like who putting in time wise are my peers like you, but it's just like because you've been doing this for like what 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird seeing people who are my peers of just like some people are just like more like are able to attract an audience better. I was gonna say more. Some people are just more attractive than others, and I'm sure that's true between the two of us. But the thing about that is, more attractive to an audience is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Of like and I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what it is when it comes to streaming. I'm not sure what that it factor really is, but I'm certain that you've got it. I'm certain that if you put in the time and you gave it everything you had,
Yeah.
I think within like a year or two, you could be within at least the top 500 streamers, which is a pretty lofty goal.
Ayo.
But I think
Oh
you
my
could end up
goodness.
there.
Yeah.
Now I'm feeling determined. I want to get there. I want to bring all my friends with me. That's my goal.
Absolutely, a rising tide raises all ships, or whatever they say.
I do not know.
It's definitely
I've got 60
like
followers right
words
now.
to. It's definitely like a goal of mine as well. Is just like I want to come up and I want to bring all my friends with me. Yeah, like Jed. I want Jed to be
Yeah.
living good off me too. If it can make it happen, and obviously my husband. But
Yeah.
that's sort of just an obligatory thing. Like I think that goes without saying that I should be
No,
supporting my husband
financial
in everything.
obligation.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really funny. And I don't think we talked about this very
What,
much
my
because we were
husband?
talking about other things. No, but I was thinking about it, and the fact that I was like, man, I want to get into Willow to play with Vox, and like I want to get into an SMP, and I think it would be a lot of fun, but I'm not gonna get into it. I've got like 40 something followers. And Vox was like, just apply. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And he was like, there's this console craft thing, you could try this. I was like, fine. Wait, I have to do a video application? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And then it was like, no, it doesn't have to be a video application. You can do just a regular application as well.
Jed was looking for any excuse not to. Really, is what it came down
I
to.
have such terrible fear of rejection.
He doesn't want to be rejected, but I was like, you should try for Console Craft. This is the perfect opportunity. Because we were talking about before Console Craft got like announced. We were talking about maybe Jed joining me on season 3 of Willow. Because like, or whenever, because that was my best guess for when applications would probably open again.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. But I was like, I'll see about that. I'll see if I can get Jed in, for Console Craft. Because I was like, dude, all you have to do, it's a month long. It's like the easiest trial run of your life. All right, you just have to stick with it for a month. That's all I'm asking of you. You play for a month with me. You make content. See if you actually like it. And like getting in aside. And so I was like, because I was like, worst case, I'll vouch. And I don't know. I think it's pretty evident. I don't know how like application process works for Willow things. But I think even without me saying so, it's pretty evident who's Jed's friend,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious just because we rub off on each other. We influence each other. We influence each other's personalities so heavily.
Yeah.
That like there will come a day where we're the same guy.
Oh my goodness.
Like Jed's mellowing me out in my private life, and I'm boosting Jed's ability to perform in like public social scenarios.
Yeah.
And so we'll eventually hit an equilibrium at some point. But, I think it's fairly obvious, but I was just like, worst case, I'll vouch for you and you'll probably get in on that because I was still riding high off the thing that you had said on stream that one time of just like Vox is probably one of our better additions for season 2. And I was like, hell yeah.
Because
like I was like,
that's so true.
And I was like, surely if I was so good for the server, I would know who else would be good for the server in their eyes, and I would be able to go, Jed, I want my friend, please,
But still,
Oh
I
my
didn't buy it. I was like,
goodness.
no fucking way. I've got like at the time, I have 30 followers. You know, like none of them are new people. And then the first day of Console Craft happens, and I think it was Harlow who's doing the bit about like this is why Harlow should be in Willow. And then I
Yeah, it was Dark
jokingly
and
turned to Vox
Harlow.
and went like, now you pitch for me.
Did you hear that,
like, that
Enzo?
was a
Were we in
joke.
earshot for that?
Yes,
Okay,
you
good.
were. That's why I walked over.
It's
Oh
like,
my god.
Dude, I was so scared because like we hadn't interacted personally at all. I don't know where your temperament is about e-begging. And so like I was like, Jed was like, please come on, do me this favor, just vouch me in. And it's like, look, I don't know what my standing is personally with this group. I have no rapport here. I don't think I have no pull to go like, please let Jed in, please. But Jed has a tendency to do bits that put me in an awful spot, like a very uncomfortable spot where I'm like squirming in my chair and going, oh god, and just like trying to figure out like how to worm my way out of it socially. But and then Jed does that, and I realized that you could you came over and were like, all right, now you vouch for Jed, and I was like, oh god, I haven't prepped anything. I like Jed, Jed's my friend.
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Yeah, we didn't know that was happening. Also, can we talk about the henchman bit and how that started?
Credit for gooning.
That's
you shouldn't have.
It was awful.
I loved. Okay, so full transparency, we knew what gooning meant. Obviously, we obviously knew what gooning meant going into it. But we knew that goon also. Oh, you didn't. Oh no!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But our bit was purely like goon in the traditional like, oh yeah, you got it, boss kind of sense,
Yeah.
But we just thought goon was a funny word, and we realized that like the double entendre of it was kind of funny. And then, but I expected this would be a bit that would be, a me and Jed bit and an Enzo bit, and
like
that it
2
wouldn't
days,
spread
maximum.
For like a day or two, and then I was like, Enzo, I know Enzo well enough to know. Like, I know Enzo, I don't know Enzo very well at this point, at the start of Console Craft, but I know Enzo well enough to know they're probably not going to be streaming at least at the same time that we are a lot of the time, so we'll probably run into them very sparsely. And so this won't be a bit that will be pervasive into our whole thing. And then, thank God, it spread really fast, like wildfire on day one. Everybody loved this bit. Everybody loved this bit to death. And then we very quickly realized, oh god, like I didn't think about it till Fusion like came over in like hiding, but I remember like because it was during like it was when you were like, all right, vouch for Jed, and we were both sitting in chairs and you were just standing in front of us in the wilderness, and then Fusion leans around a corner and goes, Enzo, check your DMs, and you go, what? Huh? Okay, yeah, no, I see it, but it means something else, Okay, so, and then like you turned to us, like you were like, yeah, no, I see it, and then you turn and read it again and go, oh, and then you turn back to the two of us and go, okay, so we can't say gooning anymore. New rule. And I was like, all right, that's fair enough. Because up to that point, I hadn't considered. So I was like, okay, worst case, everybody knows what gooning is, and this is a haha day one bit, and then it's over. But it became so pervasive on day one that I realized very quickly that this is going to be a Console Craft long bit. And so it's like, all right. And then we had a little semantics thing about, can we still be called goons? And they were like, nah, same definition. And I was like, all right, yeah, you're probably right. And so we rebranded later that night. Yeah, we did henchman, and our henchman bit is still thank God that every time we refer to the Herobrine plot in lore, we don't have to explain gooning to people. Could you imagine if that was because we have to explain the henchman to people every time we explain, like, oh yeah, this is the time machine, this is related to the Herobrine stuff. Also, we were henchmen at one point in another life. Anyway, don't worry about it. And could you imagine if a caveat to that already very hard conversation about the WillowSMP timeline that you have to break out a diagram for at this point?
Yeah, straight up.
That conversation was bookended with, also, do you know anything about gooning?
Oh my god!
No, but that day you were like, all right, Jed, you can come in. You're in Willow, pretty much unofficially. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I took that as I was like,
oh yeah,
oh
yeah, they did a psyop on us. I forgot about that.
I was like, yeah, I got into Willow, and I was kind of happy about it. And Vox was like, no, don't take that as fact. There's no way that's fact. And so I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's fair. This is probably.
I
just a bit.
also knew
I'm
that you
still
were
going to have
very
to
well. Okay,
apply.
so the reason I was like, don't take that as fact was because like we need to assume that everybody's fucking around until they're not fucking around anymore. Because what had happened was you got very excited about it and was like, all right, Jed, you're right, sure. And you were very casual about it. And then you informed Bush about it. And then Bush goes, if I let Jed in, I have to let everybody in. And Bush sounded very tired about the whole thing. And I was like, oh no. Are we... Because, like, you know when you're, like, hosting a thing and somebody does, like, a social faux pas or, like, does something and it's just like, oh, man, we can't be having that. This is a very weird conversation to have with somebody, you know? And it's like, you know, I was waiting for a DM that was like, look, your friend is great. We don't really appreciate the coming in and like the active begging, you know? And it's just like okay, that's fine, that's fair, I guess. Like I was prepping up for that and I was just like, I wouldn't take it as fact, let it sit for a while to make sure we know. Because Bush sounded very tired about it. But then late in the season, I hate to jump ahead here.
Like 3 days later on your Twitter, you were like, why should you be in WillowSMP? And I was
like, you want to take this step by step.
Yeah, no, and it was like, why are you and why should you be in WillowSMP? And I said something, and you like responded to my Twitter, and this was 3 days into ConsoleCraft, and you're like, you're already in. Like, why are you posting on this? And I was like, oh, all right. And like then later in the season, it got to the point where everybody was like, yeah, I really hope I do get into Willow. I hope this is my chance to get into Willow. And like there was a lot of people trying to do like well, you might be in Willow, and it's like, no, I have proof. I have
no, that's what I wanted to talk about. late in the season, Krim and Ellie and a few others who were in charge of late season 4, I guess, decided that like, all right, we should psyop and just to make sure, like, because I assume the decision to let everybody into Willow was made. Like, that was the most transparent scouting mission I've ever seen. That was the most transparent talent scouting season of a thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh, it wasn't even supposed to be that at first. I'm gonna be so for real with you.
But in that last season, or not in that last season, in that last week of ConsoleCraft, I guess the decision was made at some point that like everybody's getting in from ConsoleCraft, and thus to like play that off. You guys started doing like psychological warfare on us of just like, well, you might be in, maybe, and it's like,
maybe.
I don't know. We already know you can't pull this trick on us, you know.
Like I know it's more for everybody else, but it was just one of those things where it's like, listen, I've got a tweet. I can pull up the screenshot of the tweet.
I have receipts.
I've also talked directly to, at the time, who was like pretty much running it. I've talked directly to them about my involvement in the next. I'm there. Like, if I'm not there, I'm gonna be mad because I've been
not only did Jed have confirmation that he was in, he also had already been made plot important to the next season of Willow.
I was told that I was the glue that held the Willow timeline together, and I was like, I'm gonna be fucking mad if I'm not in the Willow.
Yeah. No, it's very funny. It's very. Bush told us explicitly. I'm a little bit of a rule breaker when I think it's a fun decision. But we put together this time travel sequence, right? And Bush goes, don't reference Willow at all in that. You can say you're sending him to the future. You can say all of that. That's already been said. Don't do anything that would specify that it's Willow. And I was like, because that announcement isn't official yet. Like, they were very caught up in just like, we haven't officially announced new members yet. It would be unfair to announce Jed right now, unofficially, ahead of everybody else when we're asking everybody else who doesn't have an Enzo tweet saying they're in. It would be unfair to them to go out of your way and announce Jed straight out. But I was like, okay, Bush, I won't do it. Don't worry. And then I was editing. So the time machine goes with a big flash of light and a lightning strike. And in that lightning strike, I added a frame of white, a frame of black, a frame of the willow tree from season 2, and then another frame of white. So if you pause that at just the right time, you can spot the willow tree
Oh
in
my
the lightning flash.
gosh, that's
And
so
so,
cool.
like, it was one frame. It was really cool. It was way too cool of a decision to pass up on, and I felt like a little rule breaker because I had that editing timeline open working on that when I was talking to Bush about don't do it, and I was like, I'm kind of doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But like, oh my god. Also, speaking of like, I had no clue if I was officially announced or if I would get an official announcement because it was already like it was kind of known that it's like, yeah, Jed has been like kind of announced, sort of. So I got very confused, and as we got closer and closer to Willow, I was like, can I put it in my Twitter name yet? And I got to the point where it was a day before the thing, and I was like, fuck it, I'm putting it in the name. I don't care. I'll get yelled at about it, or maybe I won't. And then the next day, I saw you like announce me in the tweet, and I was just like, oh wow, look, that's me. Also, sorry, Enzo.
Oh my gosh. No,
Typically,
that's so perfect.
yeah, Jed's a little more into it than I am personally of taking those leaps. When it comes to PR stuff, I'm not like that at all. When it comes to interpersonal stuff, privately or like projects unannounced, I won't do that at all. But however, when it comes to the actual art of it, I find ask forgiveness, not permission is absolutely the way to go 99% of the time.
Yeah.
To just go, yeah, whoops, sorry, we already did it now, though, so we can't take it back. The coolest decision possible has already been made.
Yeah.
The art will be better for it in the end.
I support it. That's crazy.
Except
But
maybe
yeah,
Bush was right, because it was the season 2 Willow Tree and not the season 3 Willow Tree, and then we had to write around that a little bit. But it worked out.
Yeah.
But either way,
That
though,
was something I meant to talk about with you because I thought that was a funny thing.
No, I love it. I love it.
A quick transition.
Yeah.
Speaking of Willow stuff, Willow season 3. You've been at the helm for Willow season 3, and it's been, to my understanding, in terms of like keeping the server not alive as in player count, but alive as in like making sure it doesn't crash. It seems like it's been a pretty tough gig running the server this time around. How's that going?
Well, the issue we always had was tech issues, I guess. It's always what kind of ended up spoiling it because, you know, no matter how amazing and awesome and great a Minecraft server is, if it crashes, nobody wants to play on it and no one can do lore. And I don't know if you know this, but those are like the two things that WillowSMP is known for. It's players and it's lore. And hopefully soon to be it's, you know, charity events. But you know, like, so when season 3 started, I'm gonna talk about this openly because I can. It was just me. You know, last 2 seasons, 3 owners, you know. This season, little old me. And though I did handle a bunch of things behind the scenes for Willow and stuff like that, tech was not one of them. So season 3 was a roller coaster. It took a lot of my time, which is why I think when we were on the server earlier, in streaming earlier in the week and we're comparing like player time and all that, mine is so low. It's because the first, you know, couple of months of the server was literally just me trying to make sure the server didn't crash. And that it like was playable, and after sinking like a lot of hours of work and coding and firewalls and special like mod packs and all this like special stuff in its own data pack, the server works. I'm so glad that it does. I'm so glad that it does now. It's been really nice, and now that it does work, like I don't know if you've seen it, but I have seen like no crashes. And the server has, like, at 3 in the morning my time, the server goes down for 5 minutes to save a backup. And then to start fresh up in the day, you know? New memory, new everything, because it really needs it. But it's been so nice for it to work, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with that.
Yeah, having a functioning server is real nice. We haven't had much trouble at all. Honestly, the two of us, we've been mostly clear. Obviously, when the server was crashing like every 30-45 minutes around launch, we felt it. But beyond then, it seems like every issue that's happened with the server has just been kind of you know, it doesn't halt the show for us. It's fine. We've never had a crash during lore. We've never actively been doing lore and had the server crash on us, which is nice. Because out of lore, you can work around it. I'm just like, oh, well, server's down. It'll be back in a minute. I'll take a quick BRB or something, and then we'll, you know, or I'll grab a drink and talk to Chad or something, and then we'll be back in a minute. You know, but what like I was constantly in dread that like, oh no, if this isn't fixed by Jed's big climactic moment come October, it might be an issue for us. But it hasn't been so far. It hasn't been so far. It's been fine so far, and now it's fixed.
Nice.
So you know, I highly doubt that that'll happen.
Yeah, it's been really nice, especially with all the tech issues and all that being fixed, because now I can focus on other parts of the story, like my own lore. It's funny, you know, we're on season 3, and I've barely done any lore.
Yeah,
we dip our toes in. Jed is my lore experiment, is what happened. Jed is my personal lore experiment. I don't want to say that like his story is exclusively mine because we did co-write it, but I have done a lot of Jed's done a lot of the building required personally. He built a lot. He did a lot of the resource gathering and building during console craft because I had to edit videos and that set a precedent.
Lot of the heavy lifting.
But in terms of like conceptualizing the story and narrowing it in, it's a lot of like, I happen to just be the one who jumps the gun and go, okay, but what about 8 months from now when we're out of lore? What do we do next? You know, what's the next step? And then we'll have an evening where we talk about it. And so my character doesn't have lore, really. He like has very light lore that just allows me to play the video game and kind of be in like semi-lore at all times. Because like I'm just playing straight to Jed's very like esoteric, very hard to explain character. And so it's nice. It's nice to be able to third party and go like, you know, and be able to like set Jed up for success. And eventually I'm just like, once my character actually gets involved in things, because I do have a plot for him now. I just didn't have, you know, an actual character arc for him to go on before. Because I rewrote a lot of his character right before the season started. But now I've figured it out. And so at a certain point, it's going to be up to exclusively Jed's agency how this goes. But I feel like, and it won't be much different, I'm sure. But like, I feel like with lore, the thing about it is, I find that most of the Willow folks in Dark Circle that are like, for lack of a better way of putting it, in sort of the Whisperers side of things this season are a big acting troupe. And we over on the Schematico end of things,
lore whores. Sorry.
Yeah, we on the Schematico end of things are not an acting troupe, but a comedy troupe, and so it's very hard. It's very hard to blend those worlds in an efficient way. It's like we are the side plot. We are B plot to their A plot, and I totally don't mind that arrangement.
Yeah, I had this moment where like I realized that I'm not getting involved with the Herobrine plots because they don't really like come to me like I thought they would. So I was like, okay, how can I work with this? I'm the like
you gotta actually put in the effort. You gotta go.
Like forgotten stepchild of Herobrine that Herobrine has just like he's not really, he doesn't really know what Herobrine does. he just knows that Herobrine sent him to the future, told him to kill Vox, which at the time we had already established that Vox kind of just shows back up after I kill him. So I was like, yeah, it'd be funny. Sure. And so I just killed him. And like, even Herobrine in that moment was just like, oh, you're just gonna do it? It's like, yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh.
And I killed Vox, and then like I went forward in time. And so like for me, Herobrine hasn't done anything. You know, he hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't done anything super majorly horrifying. So it's just like he helped me get here, and he gave me like a bunch of knowledge about time travel. Sure, he's fine. So like I'm just kind of doing the like, he's fine, while every other Herobrine person is like murdering people. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the comedy of it, is just being like, you know, a peddler of Herobrine when it's like, you don't know who you're talking about, do you? I was like, not really. I'm just having a good time.
So your lore, you also fall into this weird like category where you don't really have much going on lore wise. Do you have plans that you can talk about?
I have so many plans. I'm gonna talk about them all right here, right now on your podcast.
Go
Sorry,
for
my
it.
podcast. My
Absolutely.
bad.
On your
Right.
podcast, yes.
My podcast. Oh my gosh, I took in a lot of inspiration from the Whispers. I made this joke to Dark. Dark knows it's a joke. I'd like to clarify. I've said I'm doing the Whispers lore, but better. It's a joke. I promise it's a joke. But no, I've written out this whole. I have about a 16-page document that I'm trying to compress into something more readable about my lore plans.
Mhm.
I'm planning my first official lore stream. I actually DM'd Vox a little spoiler to it.
You did, yeah.
Last time we were streaming. I have a bunch. I have this whole overarching story plan going. I've been like reaching out to people behind the scenes who aren't really like in lore yet, or like trying to find their way to do stuff on the WillowSMP, and I'm going, hey, you, I have this cool story. Here's like the plan. Do you want in? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, please. So I'm starting a little group chat of people, and I'm just like getting that ball rolling of what I want to do, so I can do my first like official lore stream. It's gonna have like pre-recorded bits, like planned stuff. It's gonna be absolutely insane. I've wanted to do something like this for a while, but now I'm finally like just like, okay, there's no tech issues. Everything's great. Like the CubedCon booth for that Minecraft convention is pretty much almost finished. I'm actually gonna get on with Ellie later tonight and finish up those final touches. I have nothing I need to work on right now behind the scenes, so I can just fully focus on lore, and I'm so excited. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
speaking of CubedCon, I wanted to talk about CubedCon and
Ooh.
WillowSMP's involvement in it. First of all, I saw CubedCon and I saw that they were like still looking for people to fill a couple booth slots, and I was like, wouldn't this be awesome? And like I think maybe it was Gyro, but like a couple people separately in the same conversation in general were just like, yeah, that's a really cool idea. We should do that. And then you came in and we're like, oh, you absolute children. We already have one and have for years had a spot at CubedCon. And I was just like, oh, that's pretty sick. Awesome. And so now that's happening, but I've never even heard of CubedCon previous to this year. And so I'm very excited. I'm very excited to participate in something like that. What's going on at the Willow booth? What's the Willow booth looking like?
Oh my goodness. It's so okay. It's hard to like imagine, so I'm gonna describe it a little bit without like, I don't know, spoiling too much, because we have a bunch of like information put into the booth. And okay, so the people mainly working on the booth, I'm gonna be so for real, has been Ellie, Dark and Fusion. They have been like, Ellie's done the most, like the most heavy lifting for it. I'm so proud of her for how much work she's put into the booth, because every time you walk into it, it's so every year we kind of do a Willow theme. It makes sense to do a Willow themed booth for the WillowSMP Minecraft server, right?
Right.
The first year's booth was this like really nice tree. And then the second year's booth was like a house with like a willow tree built into the side, and it had like a bunch of information. Ellie took an approach that I could never even imagine, honestly. But the booth is like, you walk over to the booth and it just looks like this huge willow tree, right? With like leaves hanging down almost to the floor. And when you walk into the booth, it switches from daytime in game to night. And it feels like you've stepped into this, like, you're like, it doesn't even feel like you're in CubedCon anymore. It feels like you've just stepped into like this whole different like Minecraft server. And you're like underneath the tree, and you can no longer see like the outside of the convention really. And it's so cool.
That's fantastic.
And we there's 2 parkour little things in there that we've put for players to do. One's pretty easy, one's pretty hard, and we've hidden some like little spoiler stuff in the CubedCon booth for players to find. And we're setting up an actual like activity where players, if everyone goes on Twitter and they post that they found like all the things that we've hidden, like all the puzzle pieces to it, we're gonna do a reveal for something we're doing way down the line. And it's gonna be really cool. I'm very excited for this year's CubedCon booth. Oh my goodness. You guys should, I don't know if you guys, you said you've never gone to CubedCon before?
Nope.
Is that right?
We've never done CubedCon before. Jed, you got your like ticket thing, right? You posted it on Twitter?
My ticket thing? What? No, I'm hearing about
Yeah, on the
CubeCon
website.
literally on this podcast right now.
I thought I told you what it's
Wow.
Oh my god,
You
I
gotta
did
get your
not
tickets.
tell
They're
you.
free.
There are
The
some
tickets are
times where I
free.
don't listen to you. You might have told me.
Uh, oh my
I
goodness.
might
The
have
tickets
told
are
you,
free
yeah.
and the event's in October and it lasts over a weekend and it's so much fun. Every year WillowSMP does like a designated time where everyone gets on and we do screenshots together.
Aw,
that's
that's
fun.
nice.
And it's so much fun and then I set it as like the Twitter banner and post it all over the Twitter, all the little screenies. But no, CubeCon has always been one of my favorite little events. Like the booth building, we always get a large booth. It's in my like yearly budgeting to afford booth. I love it. I love it so much, and it's always been such a like a little fun thing that we do every year. And I want to keep it as long as CubeCon's going, and as long as WillowSMP is a thing. There will always be a CubeCon booth for the WillowSMP. I swear.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to
Vox and I
hear.
will definitely show up.
Because I
Yeah.
kill for these sorts of little promotional things, you know? I
know.
love doing little stuff like this. It's fantastic. But speaking of things that I absolutely kill for, I brought an idea to you a while ago, like a week or two ago.
Oh yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
I think you could talk about it. I think you could talk about it.
Okay, because we don't have a lot set in stone yet. As far as I'm aware. But I had this idea around the birthday stream. I actually had it on the birthday stream. I didn't say anything about it. But there's a moment on the birthday stream at the very end where I was like, I don't know, I'll probably do another one of these maybe for a holiday, maybe like Christmas, but I'm definitely going to do a bigger one next year. It's going to be bigger and better. Check it out. And that was one of my ideas, was to do like guests, and then I realized, wait, what if I did it as a charity thing? That could be fun. Do a Christmas charity stream, and then have a bunch of people guest with me and take the stream for a couple hours to add up to a full like day of stream. But what I ended up doing was, oh wait, they're still thinking of Willow events to do in that sort of a way. I don't know if Willow Media is still a back burner in terms of like that sort of expansion, but I was just like, oh, I would absolutely be floored and honored to be, to be the impetus for like the first like official like Willow charity thing. And I was just like, that would be fantastic. And so I reached out to Enzo and I was like, oh, here's the idea, here's what I'm thinking. And Enzo was like, oh, that's fantastic, that's a great idea, I'll run it by staff. And then privately I heard nothing about it after that until an announcement dropped in the Willow server that was like, yeah, we've got, that was about, I think, something else, but it vaguely mentioned that, like, yeah, we've got a couple charity things planned in the future that we're going to be reaching out about. We've got the first one coming up, even, and I was like, oh, did somebody beat me to the punch in terms of scheduling? Is there somebody who managed to, like, set one up for, like, Halloween or something? And so, like, I went through, and I messaged Enzo, I was like, what happened? Is this what I think it's for? And they were like, it's for exactly what you think it's for. And it's like, oh, that's great. And so I'm happy to hear that is in consideration and that is maybe happening. I don't want to put anything official on it, but that's exciting to hear about. That's exciting to hear about that, like that might be happening, because charity is doing charity streams is one of my favorite things in the whole world. You could probably get me to like do just about anything, embarrassing or otherwise, for the sake of like, oh, come on, it's for charity. We did the DK rap for a charity stream once at the behest of everyone around us. It was great though. We had a time.
Yeah.
But like I would gladly do any charity event that anyone has, and so it's very fantastic to know that I've got one coming up around the corner, I hope.
Yeah, you do. I'm very excited. I don't want to spoil
Awesome.
too many things. We've actually been doing a lot of brainstorming behind the scenes in the like manager Discord. Like, and I'm definitely, once it gets a little closer, because of course I've been focusing on a couple other things.
There's some stuff ahead of it.
I'm gonna like, involve you, because you brought this idea to me, and like of course I want to expand on it a bunch, but also I think you should be involved. I really want you heavily involved, so I think that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to be involved. I was kind of I was seeing the silver lining in it, because I was like, oh man, I'd like to be involved in the planning for this at some stage. And not that like because like I gave that idea to you as just like you could have it. Please don't make me set this up. You know, like because like that was my silver lining of just like yeah, the staff team will take it from here, and maybe I won't be involved at any point, which is like whatever. But like because I would prefer to be involved when possible. But
absolutely.
like I was just like if I'm not involved, that means I have to do no work for this.
Oh my god.
That means I have to do no setup. I just have to. I love shooting people an idea and having them work on it to the point where it's just like, yeah, I had this cool idea, and now I just get to show up on the day and execute it. You know?
Yeah. No,
I love that kind of
From
thing.
the sidelines.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for a charity event, and I'm also really glad that you brought up Willow Media. I don't know if I've shared this with you. I'm sending you something, Voxel.
Oh.
If you want to take a peek real quick before I get into that.
I'm gonna look over. Ooh!
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Jed too.
Look at that!
How do I?
It's somehow set to both M for Mini and W for Wumbo at the same time.
Oh my gosh!
I can't believe it.
I'll throw it.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I forgot I could throw things in the script chat here without it appearing on the screen. I'm
Hey,
so sorry.
oh wow, that's
You know what my
Yes,
immediate
I
thought
know.
seeing this is? It would make for such a nice little pin. It would make
I
such a
know,
nice little
I know.
pin.
Don't get me
Yeah.
started. I literally was talking to somebody about that. I want it. I want it as a little pin. You know, like
Enamel
not like a
pin.
button one,
I'd
but
put it
like
on my
one of those
jacket.
like metallic ones. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. No. Willow Media is very real. It's something that I've been spending a lot of my free time behind the scenes working on. In fact, I've been talking with somebody that you might know
Mhm.
that I'm really excited to say is going to be after gosh, it's been like 4-5 months now stepping away
Right.
from, this space, might be coming back to help me with it. I think it might be a little crazy, but I'm very excited to say that a good friend of mine is going to be returning to help me with
Ooh.
Willow Media.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially the WillowSMP. I
Mhm.
know we talked a bit behind the scenes about it. When WillowSMP Season 3 launched.
Mhm.
And I just think it would be absolutely amazing to have this person that's really, inspired me for so long, and that also someone that I've gotten to work alongside with, back on the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do want to say, again, the brainstorming for the name Willow Media was also public. And I don't know if
Yeah.
somebody hit this idea before I did, and that's where it came from. But publicly, I was also publicly the first person to say the words Willow Media in that discussion. I have to say.
Yeah.
I have my fingers in a lot of pies related to Willow, completely unintentionally.
You do. Like I was not joking when I said that you were one of my favorite additions for Season 3 Voxel. Like,
Wow.
ever since we saw your application to S2, I was like, I want that rat on my Minecraft server. Please and
Aw.
thank you. You were one of my personal picks, because when we used to do additions, all the owners kind of picked a couple people out of the pot. And they're like, these are my guys. If they don't work out, it's my fault. And you can judge me for it. And I was like, Voxel's mine. I had to fight Chalubi for that title, but it's mine.
Wow.
Wow. And
No,
I got
yeah,
it 'cause I
and
was
to think-
Vox's
and to
Chocofuck
think-
friend.
'Cause
I
Yeah.
love nepotism.
I
No
remember-
way!
Yeah, I remember the wait for Willow Season 2 between, like, recording that application. I'm decent at putting on a good face when it comes to things like this. And on its face, like, I was behaving publicly, like, as though I was in. Like, I applied, and I'm probably gonna get in, and that'll be a fun project to work on. But, like, even in the application video, I was trying to put that on, and I don't think it worked as well in the application video, where I was just like, I was very nervous the entire wait period between applications opening and sending the application and waiting to hear back. And I can't believe I heard back midstream too. Like I knew what had happened because I got a DM on Twitter from the WillowSMP account, and I was just like, okay, well, I know what this is, but I gotta keep my mouth shut for a good 2 hours of this stream.
Oh my goodness.
I remember that was
Not on
like,
stream.
because that's what happened. Because I got that video, and then I immediately, like, as soon as stream was over, I kicked it into the VC where everybody else was, and I was just like, and we each did little introductions, and I was just holding this back, and then it finally got around to me, and I was like, I'm Voxel, and I'm fucking mad. I had to keep quiet about this for hours on stream. But
Oh
no.
my gosh.
But I remember just being very nervous for that whole thing, and just like, oh man, there's a lot of decent applications going around. I hope I hope everything's all right. You know, I hope I get in. You know, but I highly doubt it. But you know, it's again, it's another fake it till you make it, and I made it, and so now it's not fake anymore. You know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But no. Thank you for inspiring such an amazing name. I love Willow Media. I always said that WillowSMP was like my biggest passion project, but I think
Mhm.
Willow Media is just going to be a huge extension to that, you know?
Mhm.
And
Hell yeah.
the goal of Willow Media was essentially inspired by Console Craft being, you know, this other short-term project, you know? That it wasn't like the WillowSMP staff all going and running this other project. It was someone from WillowSMP going, I want to do this thing, and made it into this, like, you know, beautiful creation that the staff team helped with, you know, and all that. And I really just want to be able to do that for other people. So we actually, you know, WillowSMP, Will Media hasn't really been announced, you know?
Mhm.
It's really funny because if people don't watch this podcast, they're not going to know any of this. So actually, this is like
This
exclusive
show
before details.
We've
is such
gotten
an
a lot of these.
insider. This is like the millionth one of these where like something gets brought up and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that wasn't public, and then we go off about it, and then the guest realizes, oh, that's not public. We probably shouldn't be talking so much about it. Oh wait, whoever sees this podcast episode will know, I guess. You know,
Yeah,
and it's
it's great.
this is slowly just becoming the place for inside knowledge about the WillowSMP. But
Yeah.
especially the Willow Media thing, because we talked about that in episode 10, I believe, about how that was sort of shelved and backburnered. And then we talked about it in like episode 7, which was towards the end of Console Craft, when it finally had a name. And it had been like announced that was the next step for Willow, was to become Willow Media. And so we talked about it on the show. It was
Yeah.
only announced privately in the private Discord, so we probably shouldn't have said anything. We're usually pretty good about keeping those sorts of things quiet. I think somebody else tweeted about it before we did, but
Yeah.
or before we said anything on the show. But moreover, oh no, you had talked about it on stream, is what happened, and then we had went on with that episode. Yeah, you leaked it first, and it's like, okay, it's not my fault. We can talk about that a little bit. And so like the audience here, at least the recurring audience, has caught a real play-by-play of how the Willow Media like branding has slowly come into fashion, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But
I'm
Yeah.
loving it too. Oh my goodness.
yeah, no, it's fantastic.
My
And I'm having
my
a lot of fun with it.
contribution to public knowledge in the WillowSMP is, do you remember when you played what was that game called? Content Warning with
Content
Vox?
warning.
Yeah,
And
I love
the snail
that.
guy,
The
showed
snail
up.
guy, yeah.
and we called him Paul. That was my bit. That invaded. That's really the only thing that I've ever done that's notable.
Yeah, that's a lasting impact, is that snail is called Paul because of Jed.
Yeah.
It's
I've
Paul.
actually,
Oh my
you know what's funny?
goodness.
I've heard like extraneous Willow people call him Paul, like who weren't there for
Yeah.
that stream, and it's just like, whoa, amazing how these sorts of things pervade, huh? You know, it's real fantastic. It's
Yeah,
just a
that's
big
my
melting
lasting
pot,
impact, but
Willow,
that's
of
it.
just like, as much as I joke that like, oh, I've got my fingers in a lot of pies here, I feel like a lot of folks have their fingers in pies in ways that you wouldn't expect, and so it's a real melting pot, and a real sort of intercultural thing. This whole Willow thing, and I think Willow Media is definitely a real solid next step towards that.
I'm not a whole big creative, but I am a hard worker, in the way of just like, if you guys need anything done, I'll do it. That's pretty much just what I do. That's my role in like Schematico and that sort of thing. Vox does
Yo.
all the creative stuff, and I make sure that the creative stuff gets done.
I'm like
Yeah.
Steve Jobs in that, like, I come in and I have an idea and then I leave and a team of people figure it out and then I come
Vox-
back
Oh
and it's
my
done.
God.
Vox did that, and he was like, "I want a really cool starting system in like a 14 by 14 area. Can you do that?" And I was like, "I can try," and I
Yeah,
did.
try it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I was like, I wanted to sort all the items. Yeah, I was like, I want it to sort all the items. I want it to smelt all the items that need smelting. I want the whole thing in a 17 by 17 block area, and I
Oh
need it to be
my
over 100
gosh.
blocks tall.
It needs to
Figure
be
it out,
stackable.
and then Jed figured it out.
That's crazy.
That's my entire role in a lot of this is figuring it out and getting it done. So if
And
you
then
need any, if you
I
need
was standing by
anything
the sidelines.
done,
Jed showed me his design for it initially, and my job was to come in halfway through as supervisor and go, not very pretty though, is it? And then Jed went, yeah, I guess not, but it works, and it's what you wanted, and it's like, yeah, but what if it were nicer looking? And then Jed's like, oh, you're fine, all right. And then he had to like redesign certain aspects of it to make it look just a little bit nicer. I'd argue it looks way nicer, but it's like it's a very marginal change.
yeah. Well, it's just like it was a disaster. It was just a disaster of that. But that's what I do. So
That's Jed's job.
I am the like that is,
and
kind
he's
of my
invaluable
real
for
life job of just like I'm kind of the engineer of things where it's just like this is what I want to get done. This is my creative idea. You figure out the practicalities of it. It's
Yeah.
like, all right. Because
And
I'm good
personally,
at
I
the
love that
practicalities.
kind of work. I love that kind of work. I just like I don't do it as often anymore because I like I just don't have as much time to dedicate to it as I would like because I get so caught up with other things. And so I have a lot less time to sit and really fiddle with a problem for hours. It's like, dude, we're live in like 6 hours and I got a lot to do before then. Jed, get on it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot easier to like share the load in that way. And just have Jed do a lot of the legwork while I go off and do a lot of the like the bits that will make it more like showmany and work out a little better for us.
Yeah, if Willow needs someone to put in some legwork, I'm here. But other than that, you're not gonna get very many creative ideas out of me because I'm not a very creative person.
That's completely valid.
But yeah. You have anything
But
else on
yeah.
your questions list, Miss Podcast Host?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. I don't know. I really applaud you guys for doing something so cool because I see people starting podcasts and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like so much fun. I don't think I could ever sit down and do it. Oh my gosh.
Vox and I
it's
have
like
been
the
planning a
complete
podcast for a long
inverse.
time.
We've been planning a podcast in one show or in one form or another. The initial idea for this show, and it still lingers a little bit in the design of some of my streaming scenes with like the couch and the desk and whatnot. But like my initial idea for the show was to do it. This was again a number of years ago where we mostly hung out in VR, and I had like full body tracking and everything set up, and so I was just like, you know what? What if we did like, you know, our own version of the Tonight Show just in VR? What if we did like sort of a late talk show, you know, and I pose myself up as somewhere between Johnny Carson and Kermit the Frog? What if I put myself in that sort of a position and just had people on week to week, you know, and worked it out that way? And Jed can be the Andy Richter to my Conan O'Brien and hang out on the couch and shoot the shit with me when there's not a guest around. But then it slowly evolved, and me and Jed became better and better friends over the years, and that idea just shifted and changed, and eventually we were like, well, if we don't do it now, we're never gonna do it. We've been pitching this idea forever, we gotta commit to something. And then we started, and then we're here, you know?
And now we're here. Yeah. And the name was a lot of deliberation. Surprisingly.
Because we had to go for... Okay, so there's a bit of trouble. I want the name to be acronymized, and Fight About It comes out to FAI, and that's fine. But, like, the problem is we kept including titles that were Vox and Jed. Like, Vox, not Vox ampersand Jed, but it was Vox, A-N-D, Jed. And so I was like,
yeah.
that's an issue, because when you shorten Vox and Jed, you get badge. That's what you get out of that combination of words. And I was just like, okay, well, we gotta find out a way to make that work that's not badge. And so we did.
What was the one that we really, really liked, and I still think is a really good name, but it was just abhorrent?
Dude, I don't remember. I don't even have the list of names anymore. I always wish I kept these things.
It was something that shortened to, the Cutoff Podcast.
The Cutoff Podcast.
And that gets shortened to CP, and we were like, nope, 100% no.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Acronyms are hard because acronyms mean things is the trouble, and so you land on things like that, and it's just like, oh man, that's no good. You know, I gotta throw that perfectly fine idea out. But you know, it was a lot of deliberation. We got there in the end, though. What was the question? How did we get here?
The question was,
I was just talking about how cool it is that you guys are doing this podcast.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's the exact opposite for us. I didn't get to say this. Jed got off on a tangent about names and got me wrapped in with them. But, like, it's the complete opposite for us, because this is just what we do all day anyway. We would be probably having these exact same conversations with you on or off the show if we could trap you to VC for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be around in VC so much more. I'm working on so much stuff, but I realized that I want to, like, be around people when I do it. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna spoil this. I'm not telling the people I'm working on.
Oh, are you?
With this that I'm spoiling this, but I'm gonna do it. Willow Media has its first 2 projects already underway, even though, you know, I haven't even announced Willow Media. Wow. You guys like Console Craft, right? Wasn't that fun? You know, that 1 month server?
I think I know about this one.
Oh my gosh.
I know about this one as well.
I don't know if you do, you know? It would be really cool if we were planning another one, like, really short term, but also fun server, except for, you know, I heard the person who is starting this really, really, really likes Pokemon.
Oh, we actually
I do know about this one.
Last episode you were on.
Did we? No, I'm gonna cry.
Briefly.
Oh god.
Briefly.
It's okay. I didn't talk about this. You know how it's called Willow Media?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about how Willow Media wants to host all these other like projects for creators and stuff like that. That, you know, like, it's hard to set up your own, like, Minecraft server, but it would be really cool if you had, like, a staff team that's already, like, actively doing it for a long-term server, like, lend it out to help you with your short-term server. But, like, it's called Willow Media, so where's the media part? We had some really creative individuals on WillowSMP reach out to us about making a whole, like, pre-recorded, voice-acted, like, specially planned series.
Ooh.
Oh,
and
if you ever need anybody for that.
Some of the episodes, we decided to take it on. So that's gonna be coming soon. I'm very excited about this, actually.
Oh man,
nice.
I'll volunteer myself for just about anything.
Yo,
I'm a fairly competent writer, and I don't know. I've been doing vocal performance for a while. So I have a good enough mic for it, and so, like, you ever need anyone to lend their voice or their brain to a writer's room, I'm good for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I might actually take you up on that. Not gonna lie.
I've dabbled in audio
for
work.
sure. I'd be absolutely down.
I've dabbled in this if you need help. Oh my god.
I have dabbled.
Well, that's the problem. Is you start stuff like this. You start like projects like this. That's why I'm so excited about Willow Media, because I know Indie, now known as Beagle Eagle, is good at music.
Beagle Eagle.
They're very good at music, and Jed is kind of a music guy a little bit, actually. So I probably shouldn't have gone for Jed second, because those are the same talent. But my point is, there are a lot of people in Willow, and there's a lot of talent to go round, and so I feel like sort of spreading the influence and really, like, assisting folks in honing in on these projects is, like, we've almost, like, I say you guys have, like, almost perfectly assembled, you know, the group of people to do that with, because it's just like we're all very creative and motivated people, and I love that about the folks in Willow, present company included in that, and it's such a wonderful thing to think that, like, you know, this can go beyond simply streaming on a Minecraft server and be able to extend to further future projects. So that could be fun.
Yeah.
But I love the creative work. I wish I would have the confidence to put my stuff out there. I don't. The most
Aw.
I've ever done for my music is on stream when Willow crashed. I picked up a guitar once and I was like, this is a song I'm learning. And then I buried it with all of my other streams. If you want to watch
Oh.
all of my WillowSMP, you can find it.
Oh my gosh, that's what I'm gonna be doing after this podcast now. God damn it.
I think that could be.
But,
I think that could be a fun thing for you, Jed. I think you could be leveraging that in your BRBs and your content more of just like using it as a vehicle to put music and content where it doesn't really matter. Of just like midstream, I need a break from the game. I'm just gonna strum away for a minute. You know,
Yeah.
little
Yeah, I may
strumming
do
break.
that.
Maybe a redeem. Make it a redeem. Go to like
Make
a
it a
strum
redeem?
break and then fucking just like, all
I
right, well,
can't
we're
redeem
playing
things. I
guitar
don't have
for a
enough
minute.
average viewers to get fucking
Yeah, you'll get
affiliate.
affiliate soon. You're well on your track to do that. You'll be
I
fine.
am.
You know, nope, that's my new personal goal. I set myself with really random personal goals, and now it is to help you get affiliate, Jed. Watch out.
Wow.
You're not ready.
Wow. Thank you.
Awesome. But no, yeah, you guys ever need a Willow Media? You guys ever need a podcast to fall under the Willow Media branding? We'd be happy to slap that little like
Yeah.
pin you posted in the
We're
corner of
already-
the title.
Hey, yo.
We're
I would
already
totally
kinda-
at Vox
kinda
and
there.
Jed fight about it. A Willow Media project
Ooh.
Yeah. With like, you know,
with our
the only
resume
guests
of
we've had
17 episodes of being practically just the Willow show, and then a little bit of
Yeah.
personal talk here and there.
Oh
But no,
my
yeah.
goodness.
In all seriousness though, yeah, no, it's you know, I'm happy to work on literally anything. And I
Yeah.
like having a diverse like group of things to work on at any given time. So if you ever need like, all right, we need to bring a hand in on this one. Here you go. You know, I'm happy to be that guy. You know, you can drag
So-
me anywhere and I'll find a way to work.
If you need 2 chocolate fucks, we're here.
You're giving me so many ideas. Oh, I'm gonna be brainstorming all night. Oh no.
Awesome. Well, if you come up with anything
we're in
good,
for anything.
if you come up with anything good, or wanna talk more about the things that we can't quite talk about in detail on the show, I'm happy to have a conversation in DMs.
Yes,
I'm very
please.
intrigued to hear what you're working on back there.
Same.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
like being involved.
Yeah, Jed just likes to be involved.
I like having a time. I'm the what is that? And Steve to most of
Yeah,
things
you're
that
the
Vox
and
are a part of.
Steve.
Yeah.
You're my second guy. Well, because like I feel like it's I feel like you're the and Steve to my relationship because you're going to be living in my home and doing a lot of activities with us. Because I think it would be rude to go out on date nights and like, hey, we're going to Olive Garden
That's not
without you. You
rude.
can't
No,
go.
oh my gosh. No. I live with a couple. It's not rude. Don't worry.
It's not rude. Is it awkward for you to third wheel? Like I've third wheeled in the past and it's not fun. Like, but I make my fun of it. But
I don't know if it's third wheeling because I like to lock myself in my room and only work on content till I pass out.
No, but like Basil, Vox, and I are all pretty good friends, so it is just kind of like it's less of an and Steve of just like Vox, I'm third wheeling. It's more of just like this is where we're at, you know.
Yeah, this is where we're at.
We
This is what
got
we're
here
doing.
somehow.
But I don't consider you. My point there was I consider you an and Steve to my relationship on occasion, and I consider that that's a direction that might end up going. Not in like a disdainful way, of course, but like I do see that as a possibility. But I don't consider you an and Steve in my content. I think you are just as vital to this show as I am.
Well,
and
thank you.
I think that like beyond the show, I think for things like streams and whatnot, there are a lot of days where it's like, Jed can't show up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure I want to do a solo stream today, you know?
Mhm.
And so it's a lot of
Yeah.
that of just like you know, I like having Jed is a good crutch for me in content and also like I just enjoy hanging out with Jed. I feel like calling you an and Steve is sort of, I don't think it's Vox and Jed. I think it's Vox and Jed, you know?
Vox and
and-
Jed.
Because Dark said that the other day. I'm gonna
We're
call
called
Dark
the
out
duo.
if they're watching this.
You are the duo.
We rated them, and they went, "Oh, it's the duo. It's the duo of the WillowSMP." And it's like, "Oh, that's nice. That's very
Aw,
nice."
Hell yeah.
Yeah, very sweet of them to say that. But like, you know, and that's how I've always felt about me and Jed is just like You know, we are an inseparable duo act.
A duo
I
act,
think.
yeah. Yeah, pretty
At
much
this
anything
point.
Vox is involved in, I'm involved in as well, even on the sidelines. Like the naming for Willow Media, Vox got my opinion on which name he should vote on. Like I had a say in that
Jed was involved
despite
in
not
that
being a part
decision
of it.
because I was just like I was torn a little bit between decision making, and so I was just in a call with Jed, so I was just spitballing things. But no, yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
That was a good time talking with Jed about names and whatnot. But it was also a good time doing this show. It's been a fantastic time, I think.
Yeah, this has been a great
Enzo,
episode.
You wanna wrap us?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you want to do the
Oh.
wrap
This
up?
is your podcast?
Oh no. Oh wait, how do you guys do the wrap?
We point at the guest and we go, hey, what are the things that you do? So your plug would probably come first, and then
Yep.
it would be followed by all the links you need are in the description, and we do this show every Sunday.
Yo.
Every Sunday at 3 p.m. is when this show
Yep.
comes out. It premieres on YouTube, and then it
we do a
also
funny outro bit.
yeah, and then it also it premieres on YouTube, so it's live for the first couple hours that it's out, so you can sit and chat and talk about it if that's your thing. Or alternatively, you could watch it on Spotify at your own leisure. It'll be out on both platforms, not live as soon as the premiere is over. But if Spotify is a much more audio friendly, I just want to listen to a podcast right now platform sometimes. So whichever one is your platform of choice, you could feel free to check that out. We've got both my card, Jed's Linktree, and Enzo's card. You have a card page, right?
I do have a card.
Dude, people do some amazing things with card. But no, yeah, if you could put that in the group chat, we'll throw that in the description for the episode.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
no, it's and then we do a funny outro bit, and so doing the outro goes a little something like that. Okay, your turn.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, well, your guys' links are always in the description, right? So everyone watching this, if you don't go and follow Voxel and Jed on all their platforms, I swear I will hunt you down. These two are some of the most creative and crazy content creators that I've ever had the just joy of getting to meet and interact with and have on my Minecraft server. So you guys better check them out. Oh, and you can check out me, of course. I'll make sure they put my link at the very bottom if you just want to scroll right down there and follow me. No, I'm kidding. No, this has been I can't remember what I named my pod. Enz is right about everything. Let's talk about it. I'm so happy to have you guys here on my podcast. It's just I've been trying to find some new guest stars for my show, so I'm so glad you guys graced me with your presence today.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think
absolutely.
I think it's
and I think that's the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
enjoy episode 18. Yeah, we're leaving.
Episode 18, I'm talking about Epic the Musical. And then we're talking about the fall of the Roman Empire. I'm very excited for that. I'm also talking about my future plans to murder off everyone's WillowSMP characters, so look out for that. I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been good. It's been fun doing 17 odd episodes of the show. Enjoy the show, Enzo. Here are the keys.
The
Lock the
keys,
door on
you
your
got
way
me
out.
the keys. Let's go.
Wrap it.
They're out.